This one is really nice, not just for the orthopedic and sports world, but it's also good for the neuro world. For what issue?
Subluxed shoulder after a stroke.
The hemiparetic shoulder, right? So, really good if you're gonna do some neuro. So first, we're gonna do it two ways. I'm gonna show you this way and then kinesio. So what you wanna envision is the deltoid, right? Anterolateral posterior. You're gonna need to get up here to anchor too, okay? So we sort of go from this tuberosity where the deltoid attaches. And again, I'm gonna really be kind of crossing that AC joint. So if you can imagine where the deltoid fibers are running. I'm just gonna lay that down. And those will start to cross. Notice how, you know, it touches ever so slightly here. And then right through there. Okay, so now these pieces come into play. So there's a couple options with how to set this up, because the whole point is to approximate the joint a little bit, okay? So your hands are gonna be here, so this is where you might need them to kind of help. So what I'm gonna, I just want you to support your elbow. And then I need you to just lightly put that, I need you to lightly push up on your elbow, okay? And then I kind of grab it. And now you can let that go, okay? You'll stay kind of supported under your elbow, Now, this is one way to kind of help get that approximation. Just a tiny little, Just made that like a hair too long for you. Stay right leg put. And so I'm pushing down a little, he's pushing up a little. And now if you let it go completely, it's now pulled up into the joint all on its own. So you could decide to use them, okay, but what you don't want them to do is cross over their shoulder, because then you're sort of pushing up at a funny angle. So if they don't think they can kind of like maintain this, then I would just say you just sort of approximate like we do with our unload, but just a bigger unload pull. Do you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So if they feel like they can't cross over and really get here supporting them, then just don't bother with them. Just you kind of create that little tug, it will still work, okay? So how does that feel? Yeah. It's like it's in there, like, right? Yeah, kind of like the hip spica, like it just pulls the humeral head up into the fossa there. So, but can you try, like, if you had to move your arm? Okay, so you can still kind of move, right? But it's pulling a lot, right? Okay, so now turn this way. Stay like that. I'm gonna remove all this. We're gonna do the same exact thing with kinesio. And this will be able to move better.
Dr. Baudo, does it matter what order you go in? Because like the picture looks like they did the anterior first and then middle and then posterior.
Yeah, I usually do. That's a good question. I usually do it how I just showed it on the video. So middle, anterior, I usually do middle first, so that I've now broken out the middle, the medial delt, and then I can kind of easily find anterior and posterior. So I would say do it usually like that. Did I do middle, anterior, posterior? Yeah,
Mhm.
okay. Because I would want to, I would probably come here to find my anchor point, come here, because often there's a little postural piece, right? That you're kind of pulling this first, and then you're just supporting the back part. That's how I would do it, exactly how I showed it. So now we're gonna do the same thing. Hold on. I need more like this. So again, that tuberosity. And for kinesio, I would absolutely spray. Especially, and I would spray heavy if it's, I didn't make that long. I would spray if it's really hot and humid. I would make sure that is not gonna come off. Do that again. This is gonna be better. Up. Oh, of course, now I made it too long, see? Happens to all of us. I'm just gonna round. There we go. And so I'm just gonna use this like as my template because I went. There we go. I'm gonna do one more of those. And then I'll round those edges. Okay. And then here I don't feel like I need him to approximate me because I'm gonna get that nice little pull on my own.
How much tension did you just do there for that one?
Again, if I'm doing a supportive technique, you've gotta go like towards that 50 mark.
Okay.
Because you want supportive, blocking, those all need more, okay? Muscle is always 25 to 50%. Inhibition, supporting muscle, so that's early injury, is going to be that paper off or 15%, okay? Everything else, you're going up. So again, I'm gonna give him a nice little pull. I'm pushing from the top. Now, if this was like, you know, the shoulder that's just painful and you don't necessarily need approximation, but you wanna support the deltoids, maybe you needled them a little bit to help get that arm to come up, this would be just, like that 25%, right? Because you're just supporting, you're trying to help facilitate muscle. So if you don't really want this blocking or this approximation, you don't have to pull any more than 25%, okay? If it's early in his injury and I'm just supporting him and he's not necessarily playing, that's where I would just have paper off, support the muscle here, for the shoulder. So, does that make sense?
Mhm.
So if it's blocking and supportive, you're going to be looking closer to 50, even 75%. I could argue that that's appropriate. But if it's muscle, facilitation is that 25% usually, 25 to 50, and then inhibition is 0 to 15, which is paper off. Okay, another way to say that. So that's how, does it feel kind of like it's pulling a little bit? Yeah, because I kind of at the top, I kind of pushed down a little as I pulled up. So I was kind of doing a combo on him. Okay? And then this, if you move, you're gonna feel like you can, right? Yeah,
way
much,
more.
much freer, right? And there's nothing to be said that if they've got some scapular stuff, you don't also layer in a SCAP 7, you could. It's really like, where's the problem? You know, who's the victim and who's the culprit? So, so that's these feel. Okay?